Well, there's the Chicago Blackhawks that scored the overtime winner to lift themselves 4-3 against the Ottawa Senators. It was also the Blackhawks' last game of the regular season and the last game for Connor Bedard as a teenager. And he goes out on a bang. 2 goals and 1 assist. And he'd kind of been a bit dry recently, Mark, but what did you notice about this youngster's game?
Well, it's a shot, and we know how dangerous it is. And when you give them time and space, like any potential superstar, they're going to capitalize. And it started with Connor Bedard opening up the scoring in the first period through Tyler Kleven's triangle. Might have deflected a little bit, but it looked like a clean shot right through Anton Forsberg. That's good for 22nd on the season for Bedard. And that continued in the second period on the power play. Another laser beam again through Artem Zub's triangle. Very deceptive shot with that little subtle toe drag. That was his second of the night. So a lot of great stuff from Connor Bedard. You mentioned his talent. Again, their last game, but that led to overtime. And of course, Bedard again getting involved in the play, setting up Frank Nazar for the win. So Bedard, 2 goals and an assist tonight. Big night for the youngster and a big win for the final game for the Chicago Blackhawks.
And the future is looking very bright in Chicago. Another player that's young that they acquired this offseason from the Florida Panthers, Spencer Knight. He stopped 34 of 37 shots in net tonight. When you look at his game, how promising is he going to be with the Blackhawks?
Well, it's impressive because, as you mentioned, young. He's 23 years old, so that's incredible, especially for a goaltender. Typically, they don't reach their prime until perhaps later, but he was tested the entire night. We saw the shots. You mentioned it there, 37, and I don't even think that does it justice. But involved, obviously, in Florida this year, involved in the trade with Seth Jones, comes here to Chicago, seeing a lot more rubber than he's probably used to, but that bodes well for him, and it boded very well for him tonight. He looked great. He was in control, made some key saves when Chicago needed him most. So, again, tested early on. Probably not ideal if you're a goaltender. You'd like a little more run support from your players in front of you. But Spencer Knight was terrific, a large part of why Chicago got the win here this evening.
One of the highlight reel saves that we just saw in there was against Cozens, who had a multi-point night, 2 assists. He's been so fantastic with that lineup, especially with Drake Batherson. Do you think he's gaining a lot of confidence right now as they head into the playoffs?
Well, it's critical for him to gain confidence because that second line, and he's centering Perron and Batherson, they're going to rely heavily on these guys, especially in the playoffs with all the matchups that are going on. So, yes, again, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's, one of the last games of the season. You're playing the Chicago Blackhawks, but they're playing well. And more importantly, you're peaking at the right time heading into that postseason. So a lot of great stuff there. He was involved early on. Again, 4 goals, 11 points in the 19 games as a Senator, assisted on 2 of the goals, I should say, tonight, including the one there that Drake Batherson scored. So again, very important that these guys are rolling, that they find their stride, and you're seeing that from the new Ottawa Senator and Dylan Cozens.
The Senators fans have been refreshing the scoreboard, and finally some answers, because tonight the Toronto Maple Leafs beat Buffalo 4-0, which makes it a lock. The Leafs and the Senators will be facing off in the first round of the playoffs, but before that, the Senators still have 1 game left in the regular season. They're going to be taking on the Carolina Hurricanes this Thursday, and that game, you can catch it with us on TSN.